Welcome to PredWings podcast, where Smashville and Hockeytown collide. And now your hosts, Rhett and Ron White and D-Law Dan Lawless. Welcome to PredWings podcast, episode 115. And this is our fifth season. We're finally back as we're recording usually on a Friday, but it's a little bit later, but we'll be back on track this week. Before we get going, our social media, PredWings Podcast, Facebook and Instagram, and X is at PredWings Pod, and you can always listen to us on Podbean. Also, before I get into the Beer League Minute or any small talk stuff, Sports with D-Law Wednesday nights on YouTube. At 8 p.m. It's at Sports with D-Law on YouTube. I haven't had a show yet this October, but hoping to get it back tomorrow as we record Wednesday night, 8 p.m. Hopefully it'll be
you get back-to-back D-Laws.
Hopefully 8 p.m. depending on when I finish editing this show.
Now, do you think that's a blessing or a tragedy, having back-to-back D-Laws?
I don't. It's not back-to-back yet.
Why, you don't anticipate doing your show tomorrow?
Well, yeah, but the PredWings podcast is obviously on any podcast service, and Sports with D-Laws on YouTube. So
Gotcha.
But in any case, it's just still been kind of hectic, and
oh, you're not kidding. How's everyone doing on your end there, D-Law?
Oh, I'm doing great.
Family doing good?
Yeah, I can't say too much for my Thursday league game, but
oh, now we're going hockey. I'm going family. You're going hockey.
I guess unless I'll let you just dive into your end of it before I.
Oh no, I'm good. I'm good. I just chit-chatting away, just curious how everyone's doing.
So far, so good.
Getting any sleep?
Oh, one thing that I'm getting.
Really? All right. Well, tell us about your. Let's go into the Beer League Minute.
Does that sound
like part of the theme song now?
Does that sound like a carbon copy of last week?
And last year? Oh, and the year before?
Maybe I should put it part of the.
Maybe it's time to hang him up there, D-Law.
It started out good, if I remember. Let's see, going back last year, I think I only got one game I got to talk about. Well, we had a 2-0 lead. Maybe we need to get off that. Oh, wait a minute. No, that was on. Oh, wait. Maybe I had two games to talk about. Because we were on a different rink.
Yeah, I think you got two.
Well, the first one, I don't remember how many games I was talking about the week before, but in any case, yeah, the third week wasn't very, very good. We actually did have a 2-0 lead, but we ended up losing. I think it was like 7-5 or 8-5, something like that. I don't know. It all blends in, and then last week we were actually on a different rink. Thank God. and team that we probably should have beat. We beat them before. Had some weird goals going off me. Yeah, I mean
Now, when you say weird,
we're kind of
explain weird to us, like as
like
viewers and anyone that might be listening.
no
Like
angle
like tell
shots,
the
like from
story.
almost the goal line, like from the boards, like almost no angle shots.
So you're not covering
Like
your post.
sticks up in the air, and like
You got
deflections
to be
in front
stronger
of
on
the
the
net.
post, D-Law.
Well, or on the post.
Yeah, you gotta be tighter on it.
Um, Deflections in front of the net. One shots that I couldn't see,
Come on, D-Law.
and then my eyes were open on those that I couldn't see. There's just too many buys in front. Mainly my defense.
Well, you
Oh
gotta let
yeah,
them know.
I did have one going off my defenseman's stick, deflected it in.
Oh, did he? It was a defenseman. It wasn't the guy out front.
Well, that was another time.
I'm just busting chops. I played goalie
Actually,
once, and it was a disaster.
actually, that time when my defenseman deflected it, there wasn't another team player in front. He was all alone front. I don't know how he deflected it in. I guess I don't know. Maybe I should pay more attention to my defense than the other team. We didn't play all that bad. I mean, we had some nice
Well,
goals
they
in the
didn't.
top corner, but I just was bad, and only team went on a win. So, this week coming up, we got the first place team undefeated, although they do have a tie. So we'll find out Friday how I did. Probably another. Who knows? I mean, I'm not expecting wins, but I was playing really good in the summer, and it's just like the fall and winter come and then fall apart. So I don't know. I mean, I don't know. But speaking of falling apart, I think
Yeah, tell us about it.
I'll let you start. Yeah, I think are you only gonna do one game or?
Um, I don't know. What do you think, D-Law?
I mean, they did have 3 games so far up until to this day.
Yeah, I gotta pull it up here. Why don't you start with the Preds? Because I gotta pull up my notes here.
Well, the Columbus game, they looked pretty good. They ended up, Saros obviously started. They ended up winning the game, but they played really well. 5-on-5 play is a lot better than last year. The power play is miserable though, which last year the power play was actually the bright spot, and now it's not. So they need to get that fixed, and then and then they played Utah, another home game on Saturday night, and luckily I wasn't able to see this game, but they had a 2-1 lead and blew it. That's like what they do to Arizona, Utah franchise. It's like their nemesis. Um, I don't know. I guess I should stop calling Utah Phoenix or Arizona. But to me, they're always going to be connected. Um, but they ended up losing that game.
So does that mean who's Quebec?
Quebec is no longer in it. They no longer have a team.
I know, but
I think they have a junior team.
yeah, I think they do actually.
But the Ramparts or something, I don't remember. And then they go in to play Ottawa on Columbus Day, or actually Canadian Thanksgiving. It was actually in Ottawa because they're on the 4-game road trip now, which is kind of nice to start the season off on a road trip. Kind of let that binding. They're starting to play really good, and they got they're calling them the loud line, or they're pass. I guess they consider pass, even though I never really thought of Marchessault as a pest. You got Marchessault, Bunting, and Holla on that line, and they've been playing really well up until tonight. Well, actually, I can't say that they didn't play too bad tonight. But they end up getting a win in Ottawa. Brady Tkachuk did get injured in that game. He's going to be out
Yeah. Did you see how?
for 4 weeks. Yossi, well, he got a cross-checking penalty. Ottawa did not score on it, but it was a cross-check. He did push him into the boards, but I don't want to go into the details right now because there's another play that happened like the first day. I think the last opening day, Tuesday or Wednesday. But he did shove him into the boards, and surprised he only got 2 minutes. But I'll talk about that later as a comparison to the two. But so then they go into Toronto earlier tonight or Tuesday, because obviously you're not listening. You're probably listening on your podcast service. But first 2 goals went in off of Predators players. I think the first one was Hala. The second one, maybe it was the first one, was I don't remember his name now. But anyway, it went off with 2 players, two Predators players. Predators end up fighting back. They'd end up scoring 2 goals in 44 seconds to tie the game, and then Toronto called a timeout right after that second goal, and that kind of killed the Predators' momentum. That was in the second period, and then the Leafs ended up eventually going up 2, and then they got another one in the third period. Predators did get another goal, but they ended up losing this game. So I don't know. Now it's off to Montreal. We'll talk about that future games later in the show, but it just, I don't know. I mean, it's kind of frustrating. I thought they played really well, to start the season. A lot better than last year, but I guess it could be worse. It could be other teams that I'll talk about a little bit later, but I'll let you go into the Detroit. I don't know.
Montreal.
I don't know. I don't know what I want to call it because they're kind of showing. It's kind of up and down. Looks like from the start.
Yeah, I mean, I think I only have the 2 games I'm going to talk about tonight. I believe, right, D-Law? Is that as far as you want me to take it?
Montreal, Toronto. They had 2 against Toronto, so
okay, I can talk about both of them.
The Toronto game they actually played back to back. The Toronto game was actually yesterday, the day before. So Toronto's playing on the back to back.
Correct. So, but I mean, it looked promising. I mean, it looked good in the beginning. Larkin came out and got a power play goal. I know that they wanted to really increase the power play this year, and especially the penalty kill. Special teams just they have to be better. But Larkin comes out, gets a goal from Kane and Sider, kind of sets the pace, and then it's kind of all downhill from there. We saw 2 different goalies. Gibson made his debut and did not look so hot. But yeah, the Wings they fell flat. The defense still not really clicking, and again, having Gibson, he got blown out, and a lot of people are calling for his head, saying Yzerman made a terrible decision, and maybe he did, but it's only one game. Let the guy shake the rust off. It's one game. Let him get it out of the way. Just gotta relax. But yeah, it was a terrible game. They were just bullied around the ice. They looked sluggish. Just not how you really want to start, the season off. But again, not much you're gonna do. It is what it is.
Well, at least that one game he didn't give up 7 goals.
No, but he let up five goals on 13 shots.
Oh!
Yeah, not good. But Talbot, we'll fast forward to the Toronto game. I think Talbot has played very, very, very good hockey over the last 2 games, and he faced some shots that were just he was contested, but it was I don't even know like you look at the goaltending over the years, and you always have hope. And I've said this before, D-Law, that I feel like goalies come here to die, and I just I hate that. But I'm very hopeful that Gibson is not that guy. And again, I still feel it's only week 1 or game 1 for him. We can't really judge him yet. Everybody has a bad game, but we just if the Wings are gonna make a run to the playoffs, they're gonna have to. They're gonna have to solidify their goaltending. They got to figure it out. I know Kosa's not ready. He hasn't quite hit his potential yet. Maybe he never will. They're just not thinking he's going to be NHL ready yet. Augustine, they're still waiting for him to develop a little bit. So I mean, the Wings have some time before they have to really, like panic about goaltending, because it's right around the corner. Like we know that it's coming, but it is frustrating because we bring in Gibson and we really just want to have him, be that piece. And so far, it just hasn't been good. But again, game 1, got to move on to Toronto. This game, I remembered. So I missed the first period of this game, and Yarncroke and Nicholas Roy get 2 goals to take a 2-0 lead. And I remember as I was driving, I just happened to, I shouldn't do this, but I glanced on social media, and I'm in this thread, this like text thread. It's a Red Wings text thread. And everybody's like, well, turning off the game, shutting off the game, game's over. Another lousy team, shutting it down, dead wings, dead wings, dead wings. Well, a little premature. Detroit put up 35 shots in this game. They're not shy and short in the shot department. Like, they're putting the pressure on. But second period, Marco Kasper gets his first of the year. Kaner with his second assist. Lucas Raymond gets his first of the season. Patrick Kane finally gets a goal of his own. And then you've got Razor getting his second one on a power play. So the power play, two games, 2 power play goals. Take it. And then you had 2 empty netters to solidify a 6-3 win. And this was a much better game for Detroit. It got a little rough at times. You could tell that they just played with a little bit more grit and a little bit more tenacity. And it's good that they're starting to wake up. So this is a great bounce back game. In Detroit, next game here, we're going to head into Toronto, and let me pull that up here. Finish our back-to-back games with, well, not back-to-back nights, but back-to-back games with Toronto. This was another one that started out really hot. Larkin had a real nice goal from DeBrincat and Raymond.
Well, it was back-to-back for Detroit.
Right.
And I believe it was back-to-back for Toronto, too.
And Larkin scored. I believe it was a 5-on-3 when he scored. But maybe the penalty had just expired. But Larkin hit a power play goal. So, again, the power play is staying hot. Like, we're creating chances on the power play. The big thing is Detroit just has to play, they just have to play smart, disciplined hockey. So set themselves up to be on the power play, and they just have to go. But a nice goal by JVR, getting his first as a Red Wing, and it just came down low in the third period, and he just sniped it. I mean, it was a beautiful goal. It was nice to see him get one. But then, unfortunately, one thing Detroit likes to do, and I see that they might, toy with my emotions again this year, is give up the late game debacles. So they get out and get that lead, and then here late in the third period, Matthew Nyes and Yarncroke gets another one. He's got 3 in the season. I think he's playing good hockey. And wasn't he a Predator? Because he was a Red Wing.
Who?
Yarncroke?
Oh, yeah.
He's playing good. I mean, at this point, it was 3 games, 3 goals.
Nicholas Roy, or however you say his name is, was playing really well tonight. Again,
Was he?
I mean, Yarncroc was playing okay, but Roy really stood out more, along with Nyes and Tavar or Matthews. Well, Matthews did get a goal, but
Yeah, and then Mason Appleton gets the last minute heroics, gets his first as a Red Wing. So, yeah, I mean it's been a decent stretch of hockey over the last few games. I'll take the back to back in Toronto. I'm okay with that. The one to the Canadians, that one that stings a little bit, but it's okay. It's all right.
yeah, but I mean, I suppose I can't feel too bad for the Predators because they're sitting second in the division. I know it's only 4 games. 5 points, 2 points behind Colorado, which I mean obviously was probably one of the favorites in the Central, along with Dallas.
Yeah, I mean
Um,
they're no slouches.
so I mean, I guess 2-1-1. Then again, you compare it to last year's miserable start, and
So what?
which it's kind of I don't know if I want to say ironic. It's kind of interesting that Buffalo, I mean, they're kind of starting out the way that the Predators did last year. They've only played 3 games, but they're 0-3, and apparently the fans are not liking it. And they're, I mean, and they're there's I seen a post that apparently I don't know how many, but there's at least one jersey that somebody's throwing on the ice, kind of like what they do in Toronto when they're losing. Um, but I know it's three
I mean,
games,
but you got to understand, D-Law. You're talking
and
Sabres.
yeah, and
You
it
got to
just
understand. Like, think about this for a second. The real Buffalo team are the Bills,
but
and they've not been doing so well the last couple weeks. So the Buffalo fans, the Bills Mafia, who also support the Sabres, are a little bit rowdy at the moment because they're not getting very good sports out of their city. So, sure, there's going to be jerseys tossed, but they also got to understand it's like 3 games in, like you said.
it's 3 games. I know one game. Well, it might have been Colorado, or did they score again? One of those games they didn't score. I think it was actually the first game. I think they did score against Colorado. Um, but
I mean, I'm just
it
looking at their
it
injuries
just
alone, like Josh
and
Norris,
they
Mike
got
Kesselring, Pekka Luukkonen, Jordan Greenway, Zach Benson. I mean, they've got they've got injuries.
and they
These
got
guys are going to
those
come back. Like it's just relax.
and they got those the two new goalies. Actually, I think they both are new this year. And it takes time to adjust to it. The team. I mean, I doesn't matter how many practices they have. It's a new team, and no matter what position you play, it's going to be a time adjustment. Kind of like the Predators last year with all their new players. So I just want to combine. Last year, I mean, obviously, who knows if it's going to be as bad. I think the Predators started like 0-5 or 0-6 last year. Buffalo's 0-3. They might not start 0-5. They might get a win, next game. Um, but I don't want to compare the two too close, but it just more so how the fans. It's
Yeah,
like
like I just said, they're
last
rowdy.
year,
They're
last year,
restless.
last year, the Predators fans were like giving up on the season, and but I mean, 0-5. I mean, obviously, yeah, but it's a long season, and I don't want to say they almost, no, they didn't almost make the playoffs. There could be worse things. I mean, I know Buffalo wants a playoff, but like I believe Tage Thompson had said, to the fans basically, it's a long season. It's 3 games in. I mean, don't it's we're gonna find our way, and so just kind of relax. Is basically what he told them, and chill out, and you're not gonna go 82-0. So
No,
you're not. uh, You don't expect to win. I mean, you can expect to win every game, but you're not going to get a win every game. Especially they played Colorado. Colorado's a very elite team. Even if they didn't have injuries, if they had all their players back, yeah, they might have beat them. Colorado's, obviously they're not going to win every game, but they're a very good team, and Buffalo probably wasn't going to beat them. I mean, they got
no, they're playing strong
decent
teams. They're not
goaltending,
like
so
Colorado. I mean,
and
nobody expected Buffalo to beat Colorado.
I don't know who else they played right offhand, but
Well, let's take a look.
like,
Let's take a look. I'll look it up quick. See if
but
I can find it here.
just to finish my point, or my top,
Sorry, go ahead. Yeah, go
but
for it.
I just it kind of the way I was feeling last year with the Predators is kind of like how maybe I am wrong. Maybe they're taking it more serious, but maybe they expect, because I really didn't expect the Predators to win last year. I didn't expect them to go 0-5, but you know, it just seems like they're. It's I can relate to them is basically what I'm trying to say. From last year. So, um, but while you're looking up, if you unless you have it, the
Well, I've got here. So they allowed 37 shots on goal. Buffalo still had 28, so it wasn't terrible. Colorado definitely outpowered them. 20 hits. They blocked 21 shots. Not really too many penalties or anything. Embellishment.
who else did they play?
And I'm going to pull that up here if I can. Yeah, so they lost to the Rangers 4-0 on the 9th.
Yeah, that was
Um,
regular season. That state
yep.
started on the 7th.
And then they lost to Boston.
Oh,
Uh,
that's right. Boston just lost their first game.
yeah, 3-1. I
So
think
I mean,
Boston could be sneaky good this
so
year.
the Rangers, they just played the night before, I believe, right? That was the 9th when they played Buffalo.
Yes. The Rangers,
And
you're saying the ninth?
The Rangers, actually, they played on opening day the 7th, and I was going to kind of briefly talk about that game. I watched some of that. The Penguins pretty much, pretty much dominated. They ended up winning 3-0. Pretty much had their way with the Rangers. So the Rangers were a little upset, a little mad. So they coming in to Buffalo, they wanted that win, and then Boston, obviously, they're going to be a good team this year. They just lost their first game, and then obviously Colorado. So, 3 teams. I mean, yeah, Buffalo probably should have beat Rangers, but the way the Rangers coming off that game against Pittsburgh, that's the way the schedule falls. So, um, do you have the Buffalo's next couple upcoming games or team opponents or no?
Yeah, I do actually. They've got Ottawa tomorrow night,
Oh man,
and then they've
I
got Florida on looks like Saturday.
So another couple tough games. I mean,
They do.
Ottawa's obviously losing Brady Kachuk. Thank you. They should thank Sarl or Yossi. Um, but a little bit of a dirty hit. But I mean, a lot of players. I mean, pushed them into the boards, but I'll get that a little bit later. But Ottawa coming off, I think they don't play today. But coming off that loss to the Predators, that might, again, it's kind of like the Rangers, just the way the schedule falls. Yeah, that Senators next game is against Buffalo, so they're gonna be hungry, kind of like the Rangers were. So it's kind of unfortunate for Buffalo that happens in the schedule, but that's the way the schedule falls, and that's the way games fall. But we'll see. Maybe, but I believe that's in Buffalo too. So you know, but still, they're a tough team. Ottawa's, I believe Ottawa was supposed to be a preseason prediction to be one of the top teams in their division. So,
Yeah, they're all home, and then
but
right after that, they're away at Montreal,
but
and then they've got Detroit on the 22nd.
but yeah, so Buffalo, it's not gonna get any easier. They got some tough, especially Florida, defending top champs. So, but they always seem to. I don't know about last year, but they always seem to play Florida well, especially in Florida. So it'll be interesting to see if what happens the next couple of games for them. But um, just briefly, I don't think there's really not too many stories, but the first, last Tuesday, yeah, obviously we didn't have a show on Friday, but the opening game, Florida Chicago, that I was watching that game, and that was, I mean, that was when they raised the banner. Unfortunately, I missed it because I turned it on too late, but I tell you what, Chicago is very much improved. They're going to be. I don't know if they're going to make the playoffs, but they're going to be you don't want to sleep on that team. They're a dangerous team, and they that was a very interesting game. I mean, I think Florida won that game, but Chicago actually had a lead at least. Well, if I it's been so been almost it's been a week, so uh, kind of memory is kind of fading. But that Pittsburgh Rangers game, it was a 3-0 win for Pittsburgh. But Mantha is now a Penguin, and Justin, I believe it was Justin Brazeau. I think he came from the Wild. He's on the Penguins. He scored his first as a Penguin, and Mantha got the puck for him. So I just
Nice.
thought that was interesting. It wasn't his first goal, but it was his first as a Penguin, and it's smart for Mantha to realize that, obviously. So, but that LA Colorado game, what a wild game! I mean, it looked like Colorado was going to walk away, and with that one, LA ended up coming back, tying it. I think Colorado won that one in overtime, if I remember real quick. Let me see. That was Tuesday night. No, oh wait, no, that's Avalanche. No, they didn't. They won. They won that one 4-1. I was thinking of another game that the Kings came back at. Um, oh, that was the next day against the Vegas Golden Knights. The Kings won the Vegas 6-5. Vegas had a decent lead, and LA ended up coming back. I think Vegas had like what was it? Oh, that was back and forth, and then Vegas ended up with a 5-3 lead, and then the Kings ended up coming back and winning in overtime. But this is Kopitar's final season. He announced before the season, so kind of get that out of the way and stuff. And but um, but yeah, those first three games it was nice to see hockey back and see some. But yeah, it was just nice to see some of these other teams that I don't usually watch. Um, but that's all the pretty much games that I want to talk about. Not Predators or Wings, but uh, Eichel did end up signing a contract. Now this is the last year that players can sign an 8-year contract. After next year, I believe probably July. I'm not sure exactly when. Players cannot sign an 8-year contract. Not sure why they did that, but So you're not going to see any more 8-year contracts after this year. Eichel signed, and I know you're probably not going to like this one. 8-year deal, $108 million contract.
Ooh.
His AAV is more than Connor McDavid. His AAV is 13.5 million. I believe McDavid's is 10.
That is a little wild.
I don't know why. I don't know if I don't know the story behind Edmonton and McDavid's contract. If they gave him a discount, a hometown discount, or if they can't, if they're up against the cap, or if they can't give him more. I don't know what the deal was, but as good as Eichel is, McDavid is definitely better than him. And for him to make more per year, you just think about that. But that's pretty much all I want to talk about the Eichel deal. I'll let you.
No, I don't. I don't. Yeah,
108.
that's insane to me. I mean, is that not insane to
I
you?
mean, I don't know where Vegas is going to get all his money because they got a lot of players that are paying, and they're going to be up against the cap. They just added Marner. I'm not sure what his contract is right offhand. I don't if they re-signed him or they inherited that contract from Toronto because it was a trade. But it's they're not going to be able to sign. That's a lot of money wrapped up.
Yeah.
$13.5 million a year.
Yeah.
Against the cap. I'm not sure where how it lines up with the cap and all that. But Vegas is a master at the long-term IR crap and all that stuff. But it's just going to be interesting to see what happens in the next 2-3 years when some of these players, especially the younger players that are really starting, like Dorofeev is really coming in, and there's another one I can't remember. I don't follow Vegas too much, but it's just they're gonna have to choose, and obviously they chose Eichel, so we'll just have to wait and see what happens in Vegas in the next couple of years. I mean, obviously it's not gonna happen this year. Obviously, it's gonna be one of those trickle down thing. In the future, the next maybe not even 2 years, maybe between 3 and 5 years. So, and then obviously, how old is Eichel? I didn't even see if is he still young, right?
He is.
So, I mean, by the time he gets to that 8th year, he might be close to 30, right? Because he's, let me look at it real quick. What age? He is 28 years old. So, yeah, he is a little old. So, he'll be in his mid 30s or close to his mid 30s by the time his contract is up. So
Yeah.
we'll have to wait and see. Let's see. So I want to talk a little bit, unless you have anything else to add. I think this might be a nice little. I think you'll probably agree with my. I don't know. You got anything to add before I go into this? Because this will probably be the meat of the show here.
Nope. Go for it.
So, the LA Vegas game that I was watching, I believe it was earlier in the game in the game, like first period or whatever. Turcotte, I want to say Darren, but it's not Darren Turcotte. It's Alex Turcotte. It might even be his son, Darren Turcotte's son, I believe. Not sure. But he ended up. They gave him a 5-minute boarding on Jeremy Lazon, former Predator.
What game is this one? I want to pull it up
The
here.
LA Vegas game. They gave him a 5-minute boarding call. Did not kick him out of the game. So just a 5-minute boarding. They did give one of the Vegas, I don't remember who it was now, a 2-minute roughing, I believe it was 2-minute minor, because obviously there was a little bit of a, I don't want to say a fight. It was more like a pushing match. That's what happens. It was a little bit of a dirty hit. This is the first game of the season. Tuesday, the Tuesday night game, or when that might have been a Wednesday game. But it was like the second day of this season. He definitely deserved a penalty. Maybe even a 4-minute double minor. I don't believe it should have been a 5-minute. I mean, it was. I mean, he did push him. I don't want to call it a cross check. He definitely pushed him from the back, from behind, into the boards, or sort of in the boards. But maybe I'm a little too lenient, but I don't think, especially not giving him a game misconduct. I mean, for that they just gave him a 5-minute major.
Yeah, I don't know.
It was definitely a penalty. I would have been okay with a 4-minute double minor even for that. But my my uh,
Spidey sense.
I can't think of the term right now, but
Spidey sense.
it just, to call that, obviously early in the season, the second game or second day, it wasn't the second game of the year, but second day of the season, and for them to call that incident as a 5-minute major, it sets up, well, we all know the refereeing and officiating is inconsistent at best. It sets up a precedent. So anytime you have that kind of, I don't know if you've seen that video. I did send it to you. But anytime you have something, that kind of a hit, now you're going to have to call 5-minute boarding if you want to be consistent.
So you're thinking the precedent has been set.
And then we go back to the Ottawa Nashville game when Yossi, they called it a cross check. It kind of was. He used both. I guess he did have a stick in hand, so I guess technically it was a cross check. He did use both of his hands. It looked more like he pushed him with his hands. But that one, he actually pushed him more into the boards. The Lausanne one, I don't believe he actually went. I think he might have went into the boards a little bit, but Brady Tkachuk actually went. I mean, he almost went head first. If he broke his wrist, because I think instinct, he put his hands up so he wouldn't go head first. So obviously his hands went into the boards, and that's how they broke it. So, and they gave Yossi a 2-minute penalty. If you use that model that they did, I mean, obviously they're different officials, but if you use that model that Turcotte did on Lausanne in that situation, gave him 5 minutes, Yossi should have got a 5-minute for that. I'm not saying he should have got kicked out if they didn't kick Turcotte out, but that's where, it's like, are they going to leave? Are they going to just hand out 5-minute majors like they're candy? Or are they, to me,
at some point they got to let them play.
It should have been. I mean, I'm not saying it shouldn't have been a penalty. It was definitely a penalty, whether it was 2 or 4, but not unless, I would have been okay with Yossi's hit on Tkachuk. That probably should have been a 5-minute major. And it might, I mean, obviously it probably wasn't intentionally. You just gave him a shove, because that's what happens in AHL. You just shove a player, and you didn't realize. I mean, I think he was like right on the goal line when he shoved him, but I mean, the forcefulness of players, it's gonna push them into the board. So you gotta be mindful.
Yourself as
you
well.
gotta be mindful where you are as far as the boards, and not throw the guy into there. And Yossi's a veteran; he should know. He should know better about that. If he was a rookie, Yeah, you can give him the benefit of the doubt, but I can't really compare it to any other instance because that's the only two that are really close together. But I just, that's all I'm concerned about is the officiating. I guess we'll see what happens going down the line and see what happens with the other calls and. So I don't know. I mean, I don't know if the league is trying to crack down on that stuff. So they're giving them more, 5 minutes and, no game misconduct. I don't know, but, you know, it just, yeah, I don't know what your take is on that at all.
Yeah, I mean,
I've talked
to
enough.
no, I mean, I get it, and I just hope that the refs let them play, and I mean, if it's legitimate and somebody's hurt or you really could hurt somebody, then yes, obviously, um, then obviously you have to call something. So at the end of the day, I mean, I get erring on the side of caution and player safety. Like, obviously, these are human beings. Like, um, I don't know. I don't know, but I mean, obviously, it all comes down to safety. But to your point, you're setting a precedent early on, and you're just setting it to where there's going to be a lot more. How about this? Do you think with this new how they're calling 5 minutes on stuff like you had just explained? Do you think that we're going to see more suspensions and fines?
Well,
Because
I don't.
if those hits are 5 minute, now if you get an actual boarding, where typically it's like, okay, you got a boarding penalty, it's a 5 minute or a game misconduct or whatever. Um, do you think some of these lesser hits that you're seeing are going to cause an increase in fines and suspensions?
I don't know. He Turcotte didn't get suspended for that hit, and obviously Yossi didn't get. He did get a minor. They usually don't get suspensions for a minor. Um, Sometimes they get fined, but they've they've thrown out a lot of fines so far. Myers for slashing, the Mammoth Cole, he was fined for a trip. Um, Druin Druin did get suspended. One game for something that happened. Let me see what happened. He cross-checked the Penguins Dewar, Dewar. I think it's Dewar. I believe he came from the Jets. That happened on the 10th, Thursday.
Here's what we got so
Uh,
far. Let's see.
it was
What did
he
you
was
just
just
say?
he
Jonathan Druin?
he was assessed a major penalty, and it was kind of for cross checking. I let me see this video real quick.
Well, you did have one on October 11th against you guys for a fine, that is. Ian Cole when he tripped up Steven Stamkos.
Oh,
He got a
okay.
$2,500
Oh,
slap for that one. And then Tyler Myers got
um,
a slashing against Connor McDavid, which cost
so
him 25 grand or 2,500.
so I'm watching this hit. Druin, what did he do? Watching the video. Oh, right across the head. Yeah, yeah. Okay. Jonathan Druin, he cross checked Dewar in the head. So that's okay. That's understandable. We only got one game for that, which was it looks like it was after the whistle. Yeah, it was after the whistle. There was a scrum in front of the net. Dewar kind of gave him a little shot, like with stick, and then Jordan just cross checked him right in the head. I'm surprised it was only one game. So that's another thing that's kind of alarming. Um, Something like that when I mean, that's dangerous. Cross checked him right in the head after the whistle.
Yeah.
and then he only gets one game. So, but yeah, there was actually was that one. Um, that one happened. So that was a preseason game, I believe. October 4th was preseason, so that doesn't. I don't want to talk about that. But I think that was the only. Those are the only ones in the regular season. The Druin suspension, and then the Mammoth fine, and then the Myers fine.
Yep.
That's all. That's all the ones I'm seeing anyway. So I mean, other than that one's suspension, which probably should have been at least 3 games. I mean, 5 games is a lot, but that was a pretty vicious cross check in the head. I mean, Dewar's got a visor, so
Yeah.
I mean, it's that's beside the point. But yeah, in my opinion, that should have been at least a 3. But so it's I don't know that, but judging by that, only 1 game, and that was between the whistles. There might not be a lot of suspensions if they use
Yeah.
that model. So it looks like they're going to throw a lot of fines. So it must be the NHL needs money more than kicking. And usually when when a player suspended, they end up having to forfeit that game's salary. So that's, who knows, depending on their salary, could be at least $1 million.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
But so yeah, so um, I guess before we jump into the weekly picks, I know I asked you this. I'm kind of toying with the idea of having introducing a new segment, uh, PredWings trivia. But obviously we have to look up look up st- uh, look up a bunch of trivia stuff. So I don't know how we would do that, but um, this is kind of relates to Detroit. I actually heard this on Detroit uh, telecast broadcast. I don't remember what game it was, um, but can you name a player that's only played one career NHL game and had a goal?
I can't.
And I did tell you with this.
I know, but I go ahead.
Dean Morton. It was the 1989-1990 season. He played 1 game. He had 1 goal. Incidentally, he was a -1. Um, but he was Detroit's 8th round first pick in 1986. So they must have been bad that year. Or wait a minute. No, just an 8th round first pick. So I don't know if that means like the first pick in the 8th round or their first pick in the 8th. But it's an 8th round pick, which I believe now, to just put it in perspective, they only have 7 rounds now.
Right.
So, but I just thought that was interesting, and I got to credit uh, I guess it's FanDuel Detroit, the Detroit Red Wings broadcaster. That's where I heard that from. So just had to, I have to, just had to say where I got that from. So I thought that was interesting. So maybe we will, maybe we won't make it a weekly thing. Maybe we'll, as I get, kind of look up some stuff and have a trivia question here and there, but I don't know how. Or
Yeah.
maybe I'll just throw it on social media. So if you're listening, join. Good way to follow us on social media and maybe get these little trivia questions and then I'll read them
D-Law's
off
going to
here.
devote his next paycheck
So
to the winner of
the
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 first
pod
5 people.
the podcast paycheck, it's not very much. It's zero. But weekly picks. Well, so far, so far you're perfect on the Predator side.
Bingo.
I'm 50%. I got I got tonight's game correct, and I didn't get Utah or Ottawa right. Um, But so we got Montreal coming in, or we got to go to Montreal on this. That's Thursday night, and then we have the 18th. I will do that because it should be back on schedule on Friday night to do our show.
That's the
But
goal.
the Preds play the 18th at Winnipeg, so I will do that one as well, just in case. But at Montreal, I think they'll bounce back. I know Montreal looks like there might be a decent. I don't know. I can't. They might be kind of up and down team too. I don't know. They like win or lose. But I'm gonna call that a Preds win.
I'm gonna go with a win as well.
And then at Winnipeg, I'm gonna call that a loss. They just don't.
I'm
seem
going
to
with a
play,
win,
especially in Winnipeg. So, yeah, I just don't. I don't think they're ready yet. Maybe, but especially in Winnipeg. On the wing side, let's see, 3 games so far. I got 2 wrong and 1 correct. The last Toronto game I was right, and you have 2 wrong and 1 correct. So, we're tied on the Detroit side.
I'm going Florida with a loss,
and I'm gonna go with loss to Florida as well.
And then we've got Tampa, and I'm gonna go with a win against Tampa.
And I picked a win as well. And then the 19th is that's Sunday. I don't know if you want to do that one or not. That's Sunday.
Just for crapshoot, just in case. I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go the. I'm gonna go the loss.
I picked a loss for that one. It's Edmonton.
I want to think with my heart, but realistically, they're not going to win that game. They might. I hope they do.
Let's see where Edmonton is right now. Edmonton is. Oh, where is Edmonton? Edmonton is. Oh, they're sitting first, 5 points, 2-0-1, tied with Seattle. Seattle's another team I was watching, and they look like a tough team as well. So, but yeah, so we'll see how we do. Obviously, we record Friday. We might just have to kind of reiterate those last 2 picks, but if all goes well, we should only have 1 game to recap. So, we'll see how that goes, and I think that's about it for tonight.
Yeah,
if you got anything else to add?
No, I think we hit quite a few things.
So our social media again, PredWings Podcast on Facebook, Instagram, and you got to follow that because there might be a trivia question to try to answer. And X
Can't
is.
Wait.
Can you hear me?
X.
Yes, folks. Can you hear him?
X is at PredWings Pod, and don't forget to listen to us on follow us on Podbean so you can listen to us live. Normally they're on Friday nights around 9ish. Hopefully we're trying to get a regular scheduled time, but the way that our schedule is, it's probably going to be in the 9-10 o'clock range. And then our email is predwingspodcast@gmail.com. So thanks for tuning in to the PredWings Podcast.
Good night, Hockey Town.
See ya, Smashville.